We've all fibbed on our resume, whether it's an award you didn't win or it's just a skill that you don't have. Sometimes we just want to make ourselves look good. Welcome to Beyond the Screen, I'm Nate Janot, and today we're breaking down the top 10 celebrities who lied about their talents. Number 10. Robert Pattinson. Before he was Edward Cullen in Twilight, and before he was Cedric Diggory in Goblet of Fire, Robert Pattinson was an educated gentleman. At least that's what he likes to tell people. When he first moved to Los Angeles, he found it difficult to get work as an English actor. When he was brought into casting rooms, he didn't have the mountain of experience that some producers required an actor to possess. Eventually, he figured the easiest way to get work was to tell just a little fib. When they would ask him his background and what he had been up to for the past few years, he would tell casting directors that he had studied at the Royal Academy of Dramatic Arts, which is number 12 on the Hollywood Reporter's ranking of the world's best theater schools. He would follow it up with, after that, I went to Oxford. You know how it is. This worked for a long time until too many English actors who had proof of attendance began moving to the city. For a while, he admits to switching his methods to putting on a fake American accent, but that didn't work so well. Eventually, it was revealed by RADA themselves that Robert had never attended the school or even taken a tour. Man, he didn't even step foot in that place. At that point, he had already been casted in the projects mentioned earlier in the century, and his abilities as an actor have only gotten better and better over the years. And he's Batman now! He's only like the sixth one? I don't know, but still. Number 9. Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway not only shares the same name as William Shakespeare's wife, but she is also an incredible actor with one small issue. She's a liar! When an audition for Ang Lee's romantic drama Brokeback Mountain came up, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Heath Ledger as the leading men, she told a little fib about her ability to ride a horse. Anne apparently received some key advice from her parents at a young age. She said her parents gave her a lot of gifts in her life, and one of those is that if you're ever asked if you can do anything by anyone, you say yes. You can learn anything in 2 weeks if you're motivated enough. Okay, that's a nice thought and all, but that doesn't really apply to everything. You know, you can't learn nuclear physics, for instance, or surgical skills in 2 weeks. Despite never actually riding a horse, she confidently told Ang Lee that she was a pro. She was casted, and when it came time to ride the neigh-neigh, she was noticeably nervous. While she claims to have gained the skill in 2 weeks as planned, she had an embarrassing moment on set when she realized that the horses they were using only responded to verbal commands rather than physical ones like she had learned. She was in rehearsal surrounded by 300 extras, all of whom worked in rodeos, and they just watched Anne lightly kick her horse while it just stood there just like, hey, Anne Hathaway's on my back, look at that. Number 8. Liam Hemsworth. Before following in his brother's footsteps to become the actor he is today, Liam was actually making a living laying floors. He ended up getting an agent at the age of 16, and the rest is history. In 2009, Liam was cast to star alongside Hannah Montana star Miley Cyrus in a romantic flick called The Last Song. During the audition process, Liam was asked if he was any good at volleyball, as some scenes were set to take place on a beach, and he would be made to actually play a game. He said he was great at it, it's the best sport there is. Of course, that was a total lie, and when it came time for him to actually serve the ball, he failed to keep it in the lines 10 times. The amount of takes that must exist of Liam either missing that ball or hitting it out of bounds must be astonishing. His fib was called out, and he was forced to partake in a volleyball boot camp of sorts. Despite the effort put in by both Liam and his co-star Miley Cyrus, the movie turned out to be a flop and currently sits at 21% on Rotten Tomatoes. Number 7. Chloë Grace Moretz. Alright, she may not be acting as much these days, but between 2008 and 2016, Chloë was in dozens of big-budget, critically acclaimed projects, from Diary of the Wimpy Kid to The Equalizer. She's stolen the show every time she's come on screen. To attain her role in the 2011 fantasy adventure Hugo, she decided to fib to the casting directors in order to help secure the role. Critically acclaimed director Martin Scorsese, the creator of incredible films like The Departed, Wolf of Wall Street, and Goodfellas, was tricked by the young Moretz when she appeared for her audition prepared with a proper British accent. According to an interview for The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Chloë had never done a British accent before but was encouraged to tell the tall tale by the casting director of the project. Apparently, she loved Chloe's ability to perform and wanted her for the role that was calling for an exclusively British actor. She told Martin that she was from a made-up part of England. She fabricated a backstory about her parents being horse breeders, and somehow Marty ate that up. She was casted in a leading role alongside Asa Butterfield as the titular Hugo. It wasn't until the middle of production that Chloë slipped on set and reverted to her natural accent, but by that time Martin was more impressed than upset. This kid tricked him and an entire crew of people for weeks and stayed in character through it all. The jig was up after her parents came to visit the set one day, and as Chloë says, they are very American. She caved and told Martin that she was actually from Georgia and followed it with, "Alright, so what's the next scene?" Thankfully, that lie paid off, and she went on to star in several solid flicks, and Hugo earned a handful of Academy Awards for visual effects, sound, and cinematography. So, good job, guys. Number 6. Rachel McAdams. Raise your hand if you've ever been personally victimized by Regina George. Rachel McAdams is a Canadian treasure known throughout the world as the pretty and plastic Queen Bee Regina George from Tina Fey's 2004 comedy Mean Girls, and I'm telling you, that thing still holds up to this day. She starred in a number of romantic and comedic flicks over the years, but she did once tell a fib to get a role in the film To the Wonder. The Notebook star was beyond excited to have a chance to work with director Terrence Malick, the creator of such films as The Tree of Life and Knight of Cups. When Terrence asked her how comfortable she was around horses, she replied, "Oh, I love them!" When really inside her mind she was like, "Oh my god, I'm so allergic." She was of course casted in the film, and when it came time to ride the beast, she was unable to hold back her tears. Literally, she swelled up and started bursting at the seams. The production was halted in the middle of filming thanks to their main actor having a severe allergic reaction the minute she sat on a horse. Now I'm not sure what made Rachel think she'd be able to keep up that lie throughout filming, unless she was like huffing massive amounts of Mucinex and Benadryl in between takes. Like people are walking around, "Where's Rachel?" "I'm here." Number 5. Hugh Laurie. Dr. House, one of the most iconic TV characters of all time. Since debuting in 2004, the series followed the life of an antisocial doctor who specializes in diagnostic medicine, solving puzzling cases that come his way using his crack team of doctors and his wit. Hugh Laurie played the titular House until the show's cancellation in 2012. He didn't necessarily lie to gain his role, but he just let the audition tape do it for him. The producers of House were adamant about hiring an American actor for the lead role and had in fact stopped watching tapes being sent in by British performers, doing American accents. So to throw off the crew, he sent in his audition tape in full American mode. He spoke in an American accent, he never once mentioned where he was from or what his credentials had been, and he just did the scene as intended and went from there. The director apparently saw his tape and hired him on the spot. Nobody knew his true origins until he showed up on set one day in his native English accent. The director was furious at first, but after just one take of Hugh as the cane-wielding puzzle solver, he knew that that show was going to be a hit. And it was. Number 4. Jameela Jamil. Many viewers may recognize Jameela from her iconic role as Tahani Jamil from one of my favorite sitcoms, The Good Place. Despite delivering a wonderfully fun and at times heartwarming performance, Jameela actually had never acted on screen in her life before the project. She actually started out as an English teacher when she was approached by a producer in London to be a radio host. At first she was hesitant, but she said yes when she discovered that it paid 1,000 British pounds a day. She worked there for a few years before moving to America when she was just 28. After just 6 months of searching, she nabbed her first audition for the show The Good Place. Mike Schur, the creator of several shows like The Office and Parks and Recreation and so many more, asked Jameela what her experience had been. She told him that she had experience on stage. She meant acting in school plays in her teens. She also told them that she had years of acting experience on screen, which was not true at all. The only real credit that she had was the DJ gig, and unfortunately that just wouldn't have been the biggest selling point to casting directors. Schur eventually asked if she had improv experience, and she said she loved it and had done it for years. Hey guys, don't lie about doing improv, okay? It is an art. When she got the call that she nailed the audition and would be playing Tahani, the truth was only revealed after filming had begun, when Tahani told Mike the truth. She had little to no experience. Thankfully, Mike is a man who thrives on new faces. When he created The Office, Phyllis was actually a casting associate that Mike decided to put on screen, and she ended up being incredibly funny. And in case you haven't seen the show, fair warning, Jameela's gonna make you cry. Number 3. Laurence Fishnurne. Laurence was just 16 when he auditioned to play the role of Tyrone Miller, aka Mr. Clean, in the cult movie Apocalypse Now, when in reality, he was only 14. Laurence has gone on record saying that there was no way he was fooling anybody. Apparently the idea was sparked during a meeting with a talent agent who told him that he could easily pass as an adult. The movie was famously set back due to multiple on-set mishaps that actually led to Laurence turning 18 on set, meaning that he was no longer lying to anyone and allowed to act. Apparently though, he was only really lying for like 2 days. After the director Francis Ford Coppola casted Laurence, he was notified that the actor was in fact fibbing about his age just to get the role, but despite the logistical issues with having Laurence on set, nobody confronted or even mentioned this until after the film wrapped production. According to Fishnurne, the cast and crew had grown very close over the production, and to this day he considers that cast his family. Ah dang it, why is the lesson here that the story is lie for what you love? Number 2. Laura Fraser. Laura is a Scottish actress who some viewers may recognize as Lydia Rodarte Chloë from the hit TV crime series Breaking Bad. I don't know, I've never seen the show, I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. According to Laura, she was asked by the producers of the show if she had the ability to speak German, and she replied, of course I do, it's like the second language to me. Question came following the studio seeing her audition tape and just kinda confirming one thing before giving her the green light. While she wasn't fully lying, claiming to know basic sentences like hello and my name is, she was concerned with the content that she had just agreed to participate in. Of course, her character would say more complicated things than "Ich heiße Laura." Thankfully for herself, she had enough time before filming began to learn some more complicated words, including several of the lines that she had been sent by producers to review. As fans know, she delivered a wonderful performance, and if I hadn't researched it, I might have believed she just knew German, but there goes the magic of television, I guess. And at number 1, Daniel Craig. The James Bond star is actually one of many people who fib about this particular aspect of their skills, and that is, of course, horseback riding. For many years, Daniel would have professional rider on his resume, when in reality, he had never even ridden a horse. It wasn't until 2011 when he was cast in the sci-fi, let's say action flick, Cowboys and Aliens, that his skills were put to the test. Several sequences in the film required the utmost skill and focus, and when Daniel began the rehearsal process for these shots, it became very clear that he wasn't the accomplished equestrian that he had claimed to be. Ultimately, the team brought in professional riders and stunt doubles to take Daniel's place on screen. Joke's on them though, while Cowboys and Aliens ended up getting terrible reviews and bombed at the box office, Daniel was the only redeeming factor, and his career only got better from there. Anybody seen Glass Onion? It's wonderful. Those are the top 10 celebrities that fib to get their role. Do you know any other juicy lies and want to see a part 2? Well, let us know in the comments below. If you stuck around to the end of this video, thank you very much for supporting us here at the channel. A small carrier pigeon will be landing at your doorstep with an envelope in 3 minutes. Don't open it, just open it slowly if you do. Thanks for stopping beyond the screen today, and we'll see you next time.